Got some new stand-up dates I'm excited to tell you all about. On June 19th, I will be at Vernon Speakeasy. The 21st, I will be at Turtle Mountain Brewing. On the 27th, I will be at Unhinged Brewing. On July 2nd, I will be at Berman and Boots. On July 5th, I will be finally returning to Casadas Comedy Club and Cantina for the Comedy Battle. On July 11th, I will be in Santa Fe at the Cava. Got some new stand-up dates I'm excited to tell you all about. On June 19th, I will be at Vernon Speakeasy. The 21st, I will be at Turtle Mountain Brewing. On the 27th, I will be at Unhinged Brewing. On July 2nd, I will be at Berman. Yo, what's up, everybody? Kind of slow start. This is a product of running the podcast on your own. Just trying to get this, get the live link as to many places as I possibly can. I hope you're all having a good night. I got a couple cool topics I want to talk to you guys about, or talk about with you guys. Let's see here. So, first off, on a lighter note, had a pretty damn good show tonight. Was able to be up at, oh my God, I just did the show tonight. Turtle Mountain Brewing with my good friend Eddie Stevens. Great host, fun show. Ended up doing like 20 minutes. Did 20 minutes for the first time on Tuesday over at Vernon Speakeasy. That was a lot of fun. And it went okay. Wasn't the best, but it went fine, especially for doing 20 minutes. Never done 20 minutes before, especially 2 years into stand-up. That was crazy. Then did 20 minutes tonight, and I fucking killed it. I'm not going to lie. I did really well. So that felt awesome. Huge shout out to Eddie Stevens for booking me on that show. Thank you to everyone who came out to that. It was funny. He asked the crowd who has heard of the podcast and listened to it, and a couple people cheered that I had no idea who the fuck they were. So that was neat. Yeah, and then like the intro just said, I got to do for stand-up dates coming up. This upcoming Saturday, a week from today, I'll be over at Unhinged Brewing at 98th, hosting that show. Come out and watch it. It will be a lot of fun. I have a dope lineup for you guys. Okay, let's get to the topic of tonight. I'm also gonna go live on Instagram here in a second to try to get as many eyeballs on this as possible. For real, I know it's super gay, and I know it's super corny, Yay, what's up, Allison? Yeah, I know it's super gay, and it's super corny, but please share the podcast with everyone that you can. It really does help out a lot. So we're going to cover Iran first, because, that's what we're going to cover first. I want to start by showing the press conference that Trump gave. It's only like 3 minutes, but I think it's important to start here, and we'll work our way back. So let's see here. There it is. Here we go.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel. And God bless America. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. All right. So that's the gist of it right there. Okie dokie. All right. So we are live on YouTube. We're live on Instagram. My personal Instagram right now. We'll do the Israel stuff and the Iran stuff. Take a quick commercial break, and then we'll get into 28 years later, because I'm not going to go to bed without talking about that travesty. Okay, so fuck, man. So, okay, I think the easiest place to start with that speech is it is impeccably obvious, at least to me, it is impeccably obvious to me that Trump attacked Iran as if it wasn't already obvious already, but he just made it clear with that speech. Trump attacked on Iran on behalf of Israel. Not because it's in the best interest of America, not because it's in the best interest of our national security, for no other reason, because of Israel. And we are now, you can argue the degree of severity, you can argue, you can hypothesize about the future, but we are in a war with Iran now. And, I've said it multiple times on the podcast, I've had this conversation with my friends privately, and a huge reason why I voted for Trump in the first place is because he was running on the anti-war platform. He was saying no new wars. He was saying we are not going to start wars, and we're going to get out of the wars that are currently going on right now. Obviously, Israel, Gaza, Ukraine, Russia, both of which are still going on right now. We're now in a war with Iran that is going against our best interest, and I can't help but feel like this is something that no American should be supporting. Now, what's important also in that address that he gave was that allegedly, right? Allegedly, according to the president, our airstrikes took out their major nuclear facilities, so they no longer have the ability. This is what I pulled from that, is that they do not, as of tonight. Obviously, we're going to learn a lot more, and they're going to learn a lot more, and when the dust literally settles and the rubble, gets cleared. But they do not have the capability to create a nuclear weapon. Now, what this reminds me of is Bush's victory speech in like 04, 05. Right? We thought we were done with the Iraq war, mission accomplished. We've been here before. That's the point. I don't want to like, you know what? I don't want to, maybe I will, who knows? But like, we've been here before. We've seen this story play out. It was mission accomplished at that time, and the war carried on for over 20 years. The playbook leading up to this strike on Iran was weapons of mass destruction. It was, hey, we have Tulsi Gabbard, and God bless her. In private conversations, I was a little too harsh on her, I will admit, but she has flat out said over and over, they don't have nuclear weapons. We have no evidence. Even their major inspection and audit in March showed they had no nuclear weapons. And Trump, when asked point blank about this, either earlier today or on Friday, straight up says, she's not telling the truth. It's absolutely fucking insane. I'm trying to be cognizant of Instagram as well. It's absolutely fucking insane. This was an attack that was done entirely on the behalf of Israel for Israel's benefit, and now we are in a war with Iran that could escalate. Iran does not have a nuclear weapon. All of our best intelligence has told us that, and they've been saying that for the better part of 30 years. So now here we are. And I've been thinking about this obviously a lot, and I've been thinking about this a lot more than I probably should be. But if he really was the America First president, if you couldn't tell, I am completely rescinding my support for this fucking guy until he turns this around. That doesn't mean I don't want him to do well. That doesn't mean I don't want this country to succeed, because obviously I do, and we succeed when the president does well for the country, for our country. Right? Oh, and by the way, I had some issues with this on the last live podcast. A brand new studio, still trying to work out the kinks. If the audio is like flashing out, or not flashing out, but if it's like really staticky, shoot me a message in the live chat. I mean, I have really shitty vision, so I kind of got to squint a little bit. But shoot me a message in the live chat, and I'll be able to see it. But if he was really, and I'll turn down the audio. But if he was really the America First president, and if peace in the Middle East was truly the objective, in my opinion, you have one of a couple options. Obviously, the more radical one, and the one that they'll never do, but it's technically an option, I suppose, is if you look at the Middle Eastern countries, there is a common denominator. They hate Israel. So you could just cut Israel, go to the rest of the countries, make a treaty with them, and then bring Israel to the table. You could do that, obviously, but no one's ever going to do that. And I think that's the best route. But here's a good one. Here's a wild idea. Okay, why is Israel upset with Iran? They are upset with Iran because they keep chanting death to Israel, death to Jews. They claim to be mad about death to America, but come on. They don't act in our best interest. They don't fucking care. But they're upset that they want to kill Jewish people and they want to wipe Israel off the face of the planet. And obviously they're looking at this in a vacuum, right? They accuse Israel, they accuse Iran of being the number one state sponsor of terror. Just a quick example, by the way, yes, they do fund the Houthis, they do fund Hamas, but let's just look at a really quick example of their willingness to negotiate. Not just Iran, but the terror cells themselves. Okay, so when Israel was bombing Gaza, because that's what the one reason why the entire Middle Eastern countries, why they're upset with Iran, or I said with Israel, a big reason is because of the treatment of the Palestinians and the recent bombing of Gaza, right? So when the ceasefire happened, up to the ceasefire, they were bombing Iran, and the Houthis were attacking U.S. ships in the trade canal. I forget the fucking actual sea is fucking escaping me right now. But where that trade was happening, next to the Gaza Strip, next to Yemen, they were bombing those ships. Ceasefire happens. Guess what? They stopped bombing the ships. Israel turns back on the ceasefire. They start bombing again. I know it's a small example, but it's a recent one, and I think it's important. Personally, I think it's important. When the Iran nuclear deal was happening, to my knowledge, the deal was, hey, you guys stop enriching uranium up past, it was either the civilian percentage threshold was like 2.5%, or the medical standpoint was just like 6.5 or 7. Either way, it was stop doing that. We take off the tariffs. They stopped. Now Trump took us out of that deal. He claimed because we were getting stiffed by the deal, and he claimed this was a bad deal for America money-wise. Quite frankly, just like with a lot of other things on this subject, I'm not the most qualified guy to really understand that, and I'm not the most qualified guy to speak on that. I'm just telling you what I have read and otherwise heard, and just my opinion on it. So anyway, but now, even with up until these strikes, they had 60% enriched uranium, but they still were not making any moves to build a nuclear weapon. The way that I've heard it's been described is a latent nuclear deterrent, meaning they are showing the ability to make one, but they're not making one so they can avoid these attacks from happening. Anyway, so that is why Israel is mad at Iran, because they are gaining the ability to build a nuclear weapon, and they're constantly saying death to the Jews. Okay, so what country in the Middle East secretly has nuclear weapons, will not admit it, will not say anything about it, but does it in secret, and we fund them? Obviously, Israel, right? If Trump really was the America First guy and really was someone that wanted to bring peace to the Middle East, I mean, you see where I'm going with this, right? Demilitarize and denuclearize both of those countries. Broker a deal. If Trump is so concerned about being America First, and he's so concerned with, hey, I want peace in the Middle East, and honestly, he's obviously concerned with, I want to be the guy, like I want to be top dog, I want to be the most celebrated and the most revered guy around. You think they wouldn't just be launching fucking Nobel Peace Prizes at the guy? I'm pretty sure Matt Gaetz just said this a couple nights ago, or even today, I don't know, surprisingly. But get them both to denuclearize and then start these peace deals. Ain't nobody on the fucking Instagram Live. I'm gonna pull up a couple sources that I wanted to get into tonight. But that seems like a logical route to me. And then it's just crazy that he announces all of this via fucking Truth Social or whatever the fuck. So after they've taken out all of the nuclear facilities, he says, now is the time for peace. Thank you. Oh yeah, whatever. Now is the time for peace. I mean, if they truly are by force denuclearized, and they do not have the ability to have nuclear weapons, well, maybe. It's like I almost see the logic. Like, listen, I'm not a fan of the Iranian regime. Let's make that perfectly fucking clear. I am not a fan of them. They're an oppressive regime. They treat their people horribly. They're not good. However, any step that brings us closer to a war with them, especially boots on the ground, I'm not a fan of. I can't in good faith support what Trump's doing, and I'm glad the U.S. I'm losing all my train of thought. I'm glad the United States fighters made it out of the airspace before they could get hit. That's good. But yeah, I can't in good faith support this. And he's going to lose, unless he really turns this around, he's going to lose all his political power, not power, but like his political currency to get other things done inside the country. This whole immigration thing's fucked. Anything to do with the economy, fucked. Tariffs around the world, fucked. Because now, oh, that's a great point. Now, when he tries to negotiate all these tariff deals with other countries, now because other countries are looking at this, right? Allies, enemies, neutrals, all of them. They're looking at this now. And now, because now they're seeing one of two things, right? With the whole deal with Trump and Israel. Because now they're seeing either A, Trump was not negotiating in good faith, and he knew that Israel was going to strike. So those negotiations with Iran didn't matter in the first place, and all the people he's fucking negotiating with anyway are dead. Or he was negotiating in good faith, but he can't keep his ally in check, Israel. So now they are, he has no respect from his closest ally, and now. How are people, if you were trading or if you were negotiating or bartering with this person and it went down like this, how much faith would you have in them? I saw a thing in the chat and I can't read it off my computer because I'm fucking blind. So, all right, my homie Jason, he said, what about Iran chanting death to America? Trump saw that and I think he made this decision, not pumped about the bombings, but Trump said to come to the table and let's figure this out. Okay, yeah, I kind of already covered that, but like, okay. I mean, I just think that's a death to, okay, they've been chanting death to America for how many decades though? And they're not going to strike us. I mean, I don't see that as a good enough reason to start a war. You know what I mean? And let's put it on top of the fact that after these bombings happened, why is this all happening on Twitter? It's so gay. It's so gay. So I guess the Iranian government tweeted out a picture of all the surrounding military bases that are strictly U.S. bases that are within range of Iran. So who knows what the fuck that's going to mean in the future? But I know this is oversimplification. I know this is dumbing it down, but like, imagine, I don't know. Imagine if I'm doing a set and like I have a joke about gay people, about me having like a gay boss, and then somebody says, "Hey, I'm gonna kill you for making fun of gay people. I'm gonna kill you for making fun of gay people," and then I decide to like lasso my mic and bonk him on the head. I mean, that's not called for. I don't know. It would be kind of funny though. I don't think I really have anything else to say on this subject. If you guys have anything else, feel free to put it in the chat. And please, since you guys, I see like 9 people watching. That's awesome. If you guys could all like the video and subscribe if you aren't already, that seriously, it's so gay to ask for that, but it helps out. It helps out. Please like the video. Please subscribe. I was doing my set tonight. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this subject. We'll move on to 28 years later here in a second. But I was doing my set tonight. And hey, listen, comedians watching this, and I actually know I've never been guilty of this now that I think about it. If you are getting heckled by somebody who's clearly drunk but having a good time, like they're not being hostile towards you, they just want to be center of attention and a part of the show, blah, blah, blah. Don't be a fucking dick. And if you're gonna be a dick, be funny. Don't be so bad at dealing with a heckler that not only do you have to end your set early, but the host has to come up and make up for you and bring back the show, and then I have to come up and save the show. Please don't do that. Yes, you did pop in at a weird time. What's up, dude? You look like a new viewer. What's up? Cool to see you. Please like and subscribe, all that gay shit. Okay. I think that's really, if there's anything else you guys want to ask, now's the time. Otherwise, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we are going to talk about 28 years later. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to wait for lag. Going once, going twice. All right. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to run this ad so I can get that money, and then we will be right back with my non-spoiler, by the way, non-spoiler review, and then I will get into spoilers, and then I'll end the episode. Non-spoiler review of 28 years later. We will be right back after these messages. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the amazing people over at Chopped. Guys, this is personally my favorite chili brand here in the state of New Mexico, and you can find them online at choppedchilico.com. You can also find them all across the state of New Mexico at Sprouts, Albertsons, Smith's, and a bunch of other stores in Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Las Cruces. I believe they're even down in El Paso now. They sell red and green chili, of course. My personal favorite is this blend of red and green, and they also sell online frozen bags of green chili. So again, go to choppedchilico.com to get yourself some amazing chili today. Now back to the podcast. This episode of the Okay. We are back. All right. Trying to get that timing better. Okay. So let's talk about something a little more fun, huh? Let's talk about motherfucking 28 years later. So for those of you who don't know or otherwise can't tell from the stuff behind me, I love horror movies. I love horror movies very much. I grew up watching them of all kinds. Like I remember starting out with like the old school, like the monster movies, and the, like obviously like the old George Romero, Dawn of the Dead, and the Night of the Living Dead, like his Of the Dead trilogies moving on. His later ones aren't that bad, aren't the greatest. Land of the Dead's pretty fun. Hang on. Okay, they're not the best, but they're fun. Land of the Dead's a lot of fun. I like what he did with that, like the evolved zombies and all that shit. But they're fun movies. I will say this, the zombie genre is an interesting one, right? Because there's all these rules and there's these things you can and cannot do until you have a movie that is truly groundbreaking, genre defining, genre changing. 28 Days Later. Danny Boyle, written by Alex Garland. Truly. Not just one of the greatest zombie movies ever made. One of the greatest horror movies ever made. Phenomenal. If you have not seen this movie, if it has escaped you, if it has eluded you for the last 20 plus years, please go watch it. It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. It is so worth your time. It is, and you can finally get it on streaming again. I think you have to rent it, or it's on a site. I was watching it at work on Friday. Is it Pluto TV? It's one of those free sites. It's not Tubi. Oh, I forget the site that it's on, but it's on a free streaming site, and then it's with ads, and then it's also on Amazon for rent. They haven't reprinted it in a physical copy, so it's kind of hard to get your hands on, but you can get your hands on 28 Weeks Later pretty easily. It is on HBO Max. Great movies. Great fucking movies. But what's so cool about 28 Days Later is it introduced the running zombie for the first time. And I know they're not technically called zombies. They're rage-infected people because they're not really dead. They just get rage-infected. And the infected either infect others or they beat the shit out of you and kill you. I get that. But just zombies. They're fucking zombies. genre-defining movie gets followed up with 28 Weeks Later, and it's truly, truly, extremely well done sequel. In my opinion, gets a little bit too much hate, and it's a bit underrated, but it's phenomenal. It's a great follow-up. Spoilers for a really old movie. I think the movie's almost 20 years old now, if it's not inching up on 20. But it ends with the infected running out of Britain into France, into Paris. So it ends with a cliffhanger and then nothing. And as the years go on, there are these speculations and cheeky little remarks from Danny Boyle and Alex Garland about, we're going to make this movie when we have the right script, when we have the right story, when we have the right reason. We want to do justice to our project. We want to do all of these things. And fuck yeah, you get your geopolitics exclusion from dudes with mics and mustaches. So anyway, so we, as fans, we wait so long to get a sequel to this movie. And it finally gets announced. 28 years later is coming out, and they drop killer trailers. Killer trailers. It seems like it's going back to the original tone of the first movie, the grittiness. Because I will say, a key difference between Weeks and Days is 28 Weeks Later is a bit more polished. 28 Days Later is very grim. It's dirty. Like it's very much in the vein of Texas Chainsaw. Like, I know you guys can't really see it, but that's a Texas Chainsaw poster right there. It's very dirty. It's grimy. It's gory. It deals with social issues between like how do you rebuild a society, how key are women in a really dark way, and it's really good, really, really good. So now we finally get 28 Weeks Later, and I gotta say, man, it is so fucking disappointing. It is so disappointing oh my word. The tone of the trailers is held in the film for maybe, and even then not the entire first act. It's a 2-hour movie, so your first act's about 45 minutes, 45 minutes, and it's kind of spotty even then. It was a bit light in the beginning at points. I was like, man, that's kind of weird. But then it just goes off the rails. So let's just do the spoiler-free part of it. Let's talk about the good parts of the movie first. The kid, you're going to hear a lot if you look at reviews. The kid is really good. The kid is phenomenal. Alfie Williams or something like that plays Spike. And this is really like a coming-of-age story for this kid. Like, he carries the movie on his back, both due to the script and his acting. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Great acting from him. Aaron Taylor Johnson. That dude can act. He killed it in Nosferatu. Severely underrated comic book movie, Kick-Ass. That's still my favorite movie of his, the first one. Amazing movie. He's a great actor. He plays the father. He's really good. Jodie Comer, she's getting a lot of praise for her acting in the movie, and I gotta be honest, I don't understand why. It didn't really resonate with me until like towards the end of the movie. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't anything worth noting until the end. Ralph Fiennes plays a great unhinged character, like a calmly unhinged character. And then the Infected are great to watch. It's a well-made movie, technically speaking. Like, if we're talking cinematography, if we're talking editing choices, there are a couple that are strange, but the editing choices are fun sometimes. I'm trying to keep this as vague as possible because, like, here's the thing. I want people to go watch this movie for 2 reasons. A, get your own opinion of the film. Go catch it on a discount day, but go watch the movie. If you can get a ticket for, like, $8, $7, go watch it. It's also in this weird aspect ratio. Like, it's shot on a bunch of iPhones. Like, they rigged up a bunch of, like, crazy tech to be able to shoot it on iPhones. And it has this really weird aspect ratio where it's, like, super wide screen. So, like, really, like, the middle third of the screen is just the movie. And the bottom and top third are these are just all black. So if you can go see it in like XD, or if you can go see it in IMAX, go do it. Don't need to spend the money on it though, to be honest with you. But if you can get like a $7 or $8 ticket, go watch it. Support the movie for that, and then get your own opinion, and support the movie because the sequel's coming out in July. They shot the movies back to back, so the sequel's in July, and then the third movie in the trilogy is going to be in 2027. I want to see how this story ends, because quite frankly, and this is still a sore spot from Zack Snyder, but he didn't get to finish his movie because people didn't like his stuff, and they shot them back to back. I don't want to see this happen to this movie, because I would love to be wrong. I would love to be able to go back to 28 years later and be like, hey, it really sucked on reception, but after seeing the full vision, I get it. I'm open to that. I'd like to see that. But technically speaking, like I was saying, like the cinematography is amazing. Acting's good across the board for the most part. Sound design is great. The kills are fucking crazy. Like you see it in the trailer, these like jacked zombies, and they're called alphas, and they straight up like Scorpion Mortal Kombat rip spines out of people, and you see it. Like it's like their calling card. Like you said, it's crazy. So that's a lot of fun. The kills are fun. The world, at first the world was interesting, but then I'll go into spoilers later about why I thought it was kind of dumb. But the world was interesting for a little bit. The script is kind of dumb, so that's not really a positive I gotta be. This is definitely Alex Garland's worst work, unfortunately. I'm a huge fan of that guy. I'm a huge fan of Alex Garland. Trying to think of any other positives. That's really it. All right, let's get into the negatives. Spoiler free. The negatives. The script. The script is so stupid. So the plot of the film is it's Spike and his dad, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, and they are Spike is growing up. He's about 14, 15, and it's like a ritual, like becoming a man thing in this, because it's all taking place on an island. And it's a thing on the island where, so they're like cut off from the mainland, and there's this bridge that connects the island, bridge, mainland, and there's a high tide that protects them from the infected from coming over. So the infected, amongst other things, have learned they can't make it, so they're pretty safe. But it's a coming of age thing where you go to the mainland, get your first kill or two, and make it back alive, and they throw this huge party for you and whatever. It's like, okay, I get it. It's kind of like on one hand, it's kind of a dumb plot device, but on the other hand, I get it. You know, I kind of get it. And then along with that, the mom is sick, and I'm trying to like talk about this as far as the trailers show you. The mom's sick, and yeah, that's about as far as I'll go with the plot. Yeah. 28 weeks later is canon, which is a detriment to the script because they make some decisions. Let's put it that way. But 28 weeks later is canon to this movie, thankfully. It'd be very disrespectful if they just up and got rid of it. But 28 weeks later is canon. And then, yeah, as far as I'll go with the plot. So the script is definitely the weakest that Alex Garland has turned in. Let's talk about the music. There is an iconic, and if you know, you know, but there is an iconic soundtrack that's kind of in 28 Days, but it was really used in the forefront of 28 Weeks. And that is nowhere to be found in this movie. Oh, I'll say one more pro for the movie is, so in the trailer where they're doing like the Boots poem, that is in the movie, and the sequence where they do the Boots poem is really cool. I will say that's really cool. The music is not memorable at all. Could not care less. Kind of dog shit, to be honest with you. Story choices kind of goes into the script, but the story choices are dumb. There's a lot of plot holes. Not just like, oh, setting up for a sequel, but just straight up plot holes in this film that are not ignorable. We'll get to those in spoilers. Um, I think that's really all I can talk about without spoiling the film. Go watch it, because here's the thing, like, it's because of how it's made, I kind of understand why the critics are giving it so much praise, but you kind of have to turn your brain off to a lot of the plot holes to be able to give it. It should not be at 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Me personally, on my Letterboxd, I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. But yeah, not a very disappointing movie. It's like a well-made, well-crafted movie, but there's so much about it that brings it down from a filmmaking, like a storytelling standpoint, and then a fan standpoint, that I can't like give it a positive review. Go watch it if you can get it on discount, or maybe wait for streaming. But I want this movie to make money so that we can get the last two movies. Again, I've learned people should have learned the lesson from fucking Zack Snyder. So all right, that's it for the spoilers or non-spoiler section. I know I'm going to lose some people after this because you don't want the movie to be spoiled for you. That's totally okay. Please like and share. Save all of this. I'm going to go for probably another 15 minutes. Yeah, another 15. I'm going to make this about an hour. Go for another 15 minutes if you want to hear about the spoilers. Next comedy show is going to be Saturday night over at Unhinged. And then every Tuesday night at The Block. I won't be there every Tuesday night, but please go support that if you're in the Rio Rancho area. All of the links to my stuff, I put them in my Instagram bio, my personal Instagram bio, so go see all of that. I did add a Patreon to this page. I'm going to add it to the YouTube. I'm going to add it to the Instagram tomorrow, so please go support the Patreon. That would just really help a lot. And yeah, that's it for now, I suppose. I appreciate all of you guys watching. I think I'm going to do this more often. I meant to say this in the beginning, but I think I'm going to do this like late night live podcast a little bit more often. You know, I like it, like, so just real quick, when I was years and years ago, when I was dating my ex and then eventually ex-fiance, you know, she lived hours away from me. And if anybody that knows me, I hate driving at night, or I hate driving during the day. So I love driving like through the night and having a full day and blah, blah, blah. So I remember I would drive for hours at night. And even I did this when I was driving out to Austin too. I would turn on, there used to be, I don't know if he's still doing it anymore because I couldn't find him. So I just put on like podcasts that I found, but there was like late night radio host that would talk like conspiracies and aliens and have these fucking crazy people call in. It was like an AM, like 1080 station or 1050 station or something like that. It's a lot of fun. I like the idea of late night radio. So I think I'm going to do this more often. And obviously, it's not the most conducive to building a following, but who knows? People build a following a million different ways these days. So who knows? So I'm definitely going to do this more often, probably on Saturday nights. That's when I'm the most free, late night, because of work and all of that. But we'll work around it if there's shows that I have on Saturday nights or if I'm out of town. Okie dokie. Spoilers. Full warning. Spoilers for 28 years later. Spoilers. Full spoilers. We're going to break down the movie and what I didn't like about it. We're going to try to keep it to about 15 minutes. So, the movie starts out with the initial outbreak. And there's a bunch of kids hiding in a room, and the infected break in, kill all the kids, kill all the family. One kid manages to escape. His dad's the local priest, runs into the church, finds his dad. His dad's lost his mind. It's very silly because, like, typically in horror movies, I like the imagery of a religious fanatic of any religion that experiences in real time the end of days and thinks that it's like this amazing thing and they succumb to it. I like the idea of that. I like the imagery of that. But when it's not done right, in this movie, it came off real corny the way they executed it. So kid gets a crucifix on a chain, a gold chain, and he hides. Infected break in, kill the dad. He gets infected, and then they all run out, and he escapes. And then it cuts to 28 years later. So we have the dad, we have the kid. Mom's sick. They don't know what's wrong with her. She's having these like bipolar, schizophrenic fits. They don't know what's going on, but what they're focusing on is the dad is going to take the son out onto the mainland for his first hunt, for his first kill. So they're leaving. There's a bunch of like pats on the back, a bunch of cheering, like "Go Spike, you're gonna be a man," all this stuff. So they go out and they run into their first infected, and so the virus has evolved, because if you remember in the first movie, it the zombies die out after like 6 months because of starvation, but now it's evolved to where like it's forcing the host to conserve energy. So there's like a lot of zombies that are like really fat and bloated, and they like crawl on the ground and they eat worms and they eat bugs to stay alive. They've gotten to the point, these types of zombies, where they've gotten to the point where they're trying to conserve as much energy as possible to stay alive, so they become bloated and fat, and also due to exposure and fluid buildup, I'm sure, and a bunch of medical stuff I don't understand, yada, whatever. So you basically have 3 types of zombies in this movie. You have the slow fat crawlers, you have the weak runners, and you have the alphas. So they find the crawler, kill it. There's one sneaking up behind them. They kill that one, and they have bows and arrows. And like, all right, there's gonna be more affected. They heard them screaming. Let's go find the other infected. They go and they go out to this open field, and you see this one zombie come out that's jacked to the gills. And it's like, oh shit, it's an alpha. A bunch of others come. They sprint away. And it's one detail I did like is you could tell that the kid is, and they show these montages of the kids training, and they intercut these. It's like a weird art house thing. Like if you've ever seen a Lars von Trier movie, he does this sometimes. Like the most notable one is The House that Jack Built. Like when in that movie, when the serial killer Jack is like explaining his mindset of killing, or he explains like his methodology, he like cuts in these weird footage from like history or like other movies and cartoons or whatever. So they kind of do the same thing with like medieval fighters or military members. They actually intercut, I kind of skipped over this, they intercut footage, if you've seen 28 Weeks Later, of the snipers with that moment when they get the go ahead to kill all the civilians and the snipers are just gunning down everybody. They intercut that, and the movie actually starts out with, after the initial outbreak sequence, there's a text on the screen that says, "Hey, virus started in England, spread, and it got pushed out of Europe back to England." So it acknowledges that it did go to Paris for a time. I kind of would have preferred to see that, to be honest. And then we get to where we are. So it acknowledges 28 days later, or 28 weeks later. And if you remember, this will come in later, but if you remember, at the end of 28 weeks later, they extract the kid, because the kid is immune. Like, he has the virus in him, and you see in his eyes that he's turning into a zombie, but his body's like holding it back. He's like a carrier. So, and they're trying to get the antidote from his blood, or the vaccine. Anywho. So what I liked about it is, as they're running away from the zombies, the dad's doing like 2-man defensive formation, and where it's like one guy stops and shoots, other guy cocks in, but the son's untrained, he's scared, doesn't know what to do, so he ends up, fucking that up for them, and they end up hiding away in a house. There's a bunch of animals that run by. The animals cause a disruption, and the structure falls, so they have to leave. And they find a body that's strung up, and carved into it, it says Jimmy. That'll come into play later. And so they run away from there, and they end up getting chased, and it's the middle of the night, and they're like, fuck, we have to make it back to the mainland. The tide is not high, it's not low, we have to wade through the water, make it back. And as they're chasing back through the if they're chasing back, as they're getting chased through the thing, the alpha is going after them. They end up making it in. The watchtower guys end up killing the alpha. They have a big party. At the party, the father decides to sneak away with this girl that he's clearly been fucking, and he like eats her pussy. And the son sees the mom or the dad and the girl hooking up, goes back to the house very distraught. And so there's a sequence. There's a part where they're out in the mainland and they see a fire, and the father is very dismissive of it. He goes back. The older gentleman who's watching over his mom, he asks about the fire, and the guy pretty much tells him like, "Hey, that's a doctor. He lost his mind. He's a crazy guy, but there's a doctor out there." Yada yada yada. So then the next morning comes. Son is real pissed, and I didn't like this at all, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But the son is real pissed at the dad because of the cheating, and asks him about the doctor. Dad's being real nonchalant about it. Finally tells him that like, hey, yes, there is a guy out there. His name's Dr. fucking whoever. I forget his name. But when we went out there and met him, he had like hundreds of bodies laid out, and he was super happy. He was like, hey, come over. And we basically shit our pants and ran because we thought he was going to kill us. So son gets real pissed, and he's like, fuck you, dad. You cheated my mom. Get away from us. Pulls a knife on him. And Aaron Taylor Johnson just leaves. And the reason I don't like about that is they're trying to build this father-son relationship. And there's an opportunity there for a real moment. Like cheating is bad. But like cheating in the real world, while people may have their reasonings or they may have their side of the story or whatever, it's more or less black and white. It's like, it's not good. Don't cheat. In the apocalypse, when you have this alchemy of like, you're living in the apocalypse, there's a small community, you have human needs, the son is clearly going through puberty, he's 15 to 16, he doesn't understand the real world, he doesn't understand interpersonal connections, he doesn't understand how people work. I think there was a really good moment there where the dad could have explained to him, like, yes, what I'm doing is wrong, but here are the breadcrumb trails that led to this. But they forego that altogether, and Aaron Taylor Johnson leaves, and now it becomes a story of the son is going to take the mom to the doctor to get healed. And it just, honestly, the script just fucking falls apart from there. And I don't get it. I don't understand it, because Alex Garland is one of the best writers around right now. One of the best directors, but he's one of the best screenwriters around right now. And I just don't, because you're thinking that like, oh, maybe she's like dealing with the virus, or and like what's gonna happen? Maybe this is gonna lead into the thing that's gonna lead into the end of 28 weeks later, or like what are they gonna do? Fuck no, son. It just gets dumb. So they go out to the mainland, and they hole up in this structure, and there's a part where a creepy crawler, a fat guy's going towards him. The kid fell asleep on watch, and somebody puts a bag on the zombie's head, and this is like a fucking 400-pound chungus. All right, this is a big boy. Fatty Bombati, in the immortal words of Tim Dillon. Big guy. Slams his head into the pillar. Kid wakes up, it's day. Mom is like, oh, what happened? The kid's like, oh, what happened? I don't know, what happened? But they do this weird flashback to the night before, and the mom suddenly got the strength to kill the kid. I don't know, maybe it's like a mother's intuition thing. That kind of happens a little bit later too in a really dumb way, but whatever. So they move on. And they cut to a sequence of these soldiers that are on the mainland, and they're trying to kill the infected. They're trying to run away. They all end up getting wiped out, and the one escapes, runs into the mom and the kid, saves their life in a really dumb way. Like the mom and the kid are running away from the infected. They make their way to a gas station that's like filled with gas, but the gas is only like about shoulder width high, so they have to get low. The soldier ends up igniting the gas with them in the gas station, and the whole thing explodes, but they make it out okay. I don't know. It's fucking dumb. Anyway, and he explains, and this is really where the script falls apart from a world-building perspective. So he explains that mainland Britain has been completely quarantined off from the rest of the world. Like, the world is up and moving. Like, it's what we're experiencing right now. Imagine if Gaza had zombies. That's basically that's basically what it is. Imagine if Gaza was even more blockaded, but by the world, and they have zombies. That's pretty much what it is. And nature's overtaken it and whatever. And so I know that's super insensitive, but whatever. So he explains to them that he's Swedish and their ship crashed. They got onto oh, hey, what's up, Elise? What's up, dude? Fucking happy early birthday. Good to see you. Evan, my homie, what's up, dude? So I will spoil the movie more. So what ends up happening is he tells them that their ship crashed, they got on the lifeboat, they made it on, and the basically world policy is if you step onto the island, you're not going to get saved. Yeah, I'll get into it now. I just think that's dumb. I'll be real quick. I think that's dumb for a few reasons. The first reason is the fact that no military contractors wouldn't be foaming at the mouth to send munitions and send people in is insane. Because there's a lot of money to be made there. The fact that they aren't like somebody isn't dropping, supplies or airdrops or something into because they know there are live people there. This is happening in 2025. Like, they know that there are live people on the island. So the fact there's no aid and no help going in, that's just dumb to me. And then even if they just said, fuck it, that's a lot of land just to lose. That's a lot of GDP just to lose. The fact they aren't just like, fuck it, we're going to bomb it, that doesn't make any sense. Because that's what they did in 28 Weeks Later. They firebombed I think it was London, or maybe it was the greater country, but they definitely firebombed the main city, the metropolis, right? If you want to go outside of this IP and go to Resident Evil, they bombed Raccoon City. I'm very excited for Resident Evil 9, by the way. Very excited to go back to Raccoon City. Very excited. I'm so excited. I just beat Resident Evil 8, so I'm very excited. But the fact that, like, the world kind of just said, fuck it, to a whole country, I don't know. That makes zero sense to me. Bad writing. So they start traveling with the soldier, and the soldier's pretty funny. There's a good comedy relief there. And then they end up another bad storytelling moment. So the mom is like, ends up making it way further ahead of the two of them when it's already established that she's hard to move because the soldier had to carry her. But she hears this like screaming, squelching, clearly an infected. And it's, I wish I was making this up. But it's a naked, pregnant zombie. Now, I don't know what the acute niche obsession with pregnant zombies or zombie babies. I don't know what's up with that. I hate it. I think it's dumb. And it's done even dumber in this movie. But, because they do explain it later. But they straight up steal a plot line from Army of the Dead from Zack Snyder. So if you've seen the original Dawn of the Dead, or not the original, but the remake of Dawn of the Dead that Snyder made, there's a zombie baby in that. If you've seen Army of the Dead, there are zombie babies in that too, and now they do it in this. Can we just stop with the zombie babies? I don't like it. Nobody in my theater liked it. I'll tell you that much. It was bad. It was bad. So she goes in front of the pregnant zombie who's naked. All the zombies are naked, by the way. I saw a lot of reviews of this movie calling it 28 inches later, and that's understandable because these alpha zombies have fucking horse cocks is understating it. They are like, I'm surprised that thing didn't get caught on a branch.
I'm surprised these things didn't go through necrosis and fall off because they weigh 1.5 pounds, and the camera makes sure that you see these fucking zombie dicks just fucking flapping, just going everywhere. Zombie dicks for days in this movie. So she goes in front of the pregnant zombie, and the zombie like has her hands out, and she puts her hands out and like connects, again, mother intuition thing, connects with the mother and helps the mother through childbirth. And the only reasonable explanation I have for this, because again, they're not zombies, technically they're not dead, they're still humans that are infected. So the pain and rage of childbirth is overriding the virus, because there's almost this wink of humanity in the lady. You see the, I'm shocked this movie's not NC-17. You see the fucking, you see the zombie get born. You see umbilical cord, naked baby, you see everything. So then she has the kid cut the cord. They're like washing the baby off with water. Zombie's out of it. Zombie wakes back up, infected. Soldier guns it down, and he's like, hey, put that fucking baby down. It's infected. It has to be infected. She's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And as the guy's backing up, a fucking Alpha reaches down, grabs him, kills him, pulls the spine out, and chases after them, dick swinging and everything. So it's like, again, from Army of the Dead, it's almost like insinuated that that's his baby or some shit, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, let's speed this up, because I'm honestly just getting bored fucking talking about this movie. I'm so disappointed by it. I'm sorry that I have to relive this. So, Zombie Baby is not Zombie Baby. It's Regular Baby somehow. And so Regular Baby, mom and the kid, they are rushing away from the Alpha, and they find the Bone Temple. They find the doctor, and the doctor like shoots a dart at the Alpha that has like morphine and these like sedatives in it that stops it. They don't really explain how the Alpha goes away, because it literally goes and it like just stands still. Somehow it gets away, or they move it, and they explain to the doctor, because the doctor's like, oh, you're here because of the baby. And they explain to him, he goes, oh, the power of the placenta. How interesting. I wondered if that would happen. And so it's like, really? For my money, one of, if not the most infectious virus. Because they make a point in the movie, in the 28 Days Later, that, like, if you remember, the dad ends up getting infected in that movie by the one drop of blood hitting his eye. And there's a sequence of that in this movie where, like, the mom gets the blood on her forehead, and the son, like, hey, wait, don't blink, and, like, wipes it away. So, like, the placenta absorbs all of it? I don't know. But then it becomes nighttime, and the son explains what's going on with the mom, and the doctor's like, you know, well, he has this bone temple. Let's just explain the bone temple. And the bone temple is comprised of all these, some skeleton parts that, some of them look really bad, by the way. Like, some of them look like Spirit Halloween type shit. And in the middle of it, there's a pile of skulls. And that's like what's on the trailer. It's on the thumbnail of this video. And it's just survivors that have died, assuming that's the 100 people that they saw earlier or whatever. And he's really big on memento mori, which means remember death, remember you must die. And so at nighttime, the son explains what's wrong with the mom, what he's experiencing, what she's experiencing. Doctor does a general examination, like her lymph nodes, her breasts, her sides, basically all the lymph nodes, and goes, look, I can't do a real examination. I can't do a biopsy, but probably has cancer. And that's what can and it's probably spread to her brain, and that's why you can explain the fits and why you explain the confusion and the memory loss and all this stuff. And again, another dumb script moment. The mom goes, yeah, I kind of figured that it was cancer. I just didn't want to say anything. So aside from the stupidity of the son wanting to bring the mom on the journey and not just bringing the doctor back in, aside from that, this whole trip was for naught? Because if she has previous knowledge of cancer to assume, then why just fucking say something? I don't know. Anyway, so the mom decides, hey, I want you to kill me, doctor. Doctor shoots the son with the fucking drug to sedate him a little bit, but he's still cognizant. Takes the mom and in really quick fashion kills her, you don't see it, but kills her, decapitates her, skins the skull down to the bone and brings it to the son, who's still kind of high, and goes, give her the best spot. He puts her on the top of the bone pillar, the skull pillar, and they're like, all right, well, that's that. Next morning, Alpha comes back, tries to kill the doctor. Son saves the doctor, and the doctor's like, hey, it's probably time for you to go. Son miraculously makes it back to the main island, like the camp, very easily. It's literally just like he leaves and gets there. Like there's no hardships, no explanation. He just fucking gets there. Has the baby in the basket, puts the basket on the thing and walks away. And leaves a note for his dad basically saying, hey, fuck you, I'm still mad at you, don't come looking for me. I'm still upset. I'll come back when I'm ready. Mom's dead. She had cancer. Fuck you, dad. And then like he's like, there's people that are supposed to be on the tower, but none of them, he did in the dead of night. So like what? None of them saw a guy coming across with the baby. None of them heard the baby at all throughout the night. Like they would have been killed if it was a horde of zombies. Anyway, plot holes. So then it ends with the father being pissed and running off against his son, or for his son, insinuating that he's gonna go find his son. And then it cuts to the kid. He's on his way. He's cooking a fish. Zombies come up, kills a couple zombies, runs away. And then I thought it was gonna end there, just with the son running away. Out of nowhere, this tracksuit gang of, they look inbred, but this tracksuit gang of people wearing horrible tracksuit costumes and horrible blonde wigs, literally like front flip and like gymnastics their way into the scene. And the leader's all cocky, like, you want to fucking escape? I hear they're coming. There's not going to be not too much time for you. And the zombies show up and they have like baseball bats and clubs and whatever. And they just go to town on the zombies. And like, if this was like any other, like more like comedy based zombie movie, like Zombieland, I'd be like, okay, that's fair. But we've already established that if any zombie blood or fluid gets into any of your orifices, you're infected. You can't get close to the zombies, and they puke on you. Like the zombies puke on you. So that's thrown out the window. And they kill the zombies, and the guy goes to shake his hand, and you see, I don't remember if it's around his neck or if in his hand, you see the gold chain. And it's the kid from the beginning of the movie who's now started his own cult, and that's where the movie ends. I wish it was better. I'm probably going to fall asleep watching 28 Weeks tonight, but I wish it was better. I wish, like, don't get me wrong, it's original. It's a new thing. Like, it's a new way to do a zombie movie, I suppose. But I went into this movie asking myself primarily this question. Why is this the story that Alex Garland and Danny Boyle wanted to tell? Why did we wait almost 2 decades for their follow-up, over 2 decades, for their follow-up to 28 Days? because they didn't do 28 weeks, they did days. So if we really want to get technical, why did we wait over 2 decades for their follow-up? And I just think they missed the mark with this one. I'm going to go see Bone Temple, and if the third one gets greenlit, I'll go see that, because I do want to see how the story ends. Because I have faith in... I don't really have faith in Danny Boyle anymore, but I have faith in Alex Garland. Alex Garland's been on a fucking roll. Are you kidding me? Civil War, Warfare, Annihilation, Ex Machina, Men. I think he did Men, which was a weird movie, but still enjoyable. I'm going to look it up really quick. His filmography is insane. Yeah. So Warfare, banger. Civil War, banger. Men, interesting. Good movie. Not amazing, but interesting. Ex Machina, banger. Wrote Dread with Carl Urban, banger. Wrote 28 Days Later, goated. Like, I have faith in him. But I just think Danny Boyle's out of touch. And I left the movie, and I posted this on my Instagram or on my Facebook, but I really thought about this after the movie, just like, what if Alex Garland directed it? Would it have been better? And I think so. That's where I'm going to wrap it up there. That's my spoiler talk for 28 Years Later. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate all of you guys listening and watching. I appreciate the, 2 people, right? What are we at right now? We started out with 10. The 2 people that are watching at 2 or at 1 o'clock, and 3 people watching at 1 o'clock in the morning Albuquerque time. Thank you guys very much. I think I'm gonna do this more often. So yeah, I'll put this on my Facebook. I'll put this on my Instagram. Yeah, plan on what's next Saturday. Next Saturday I've got next Saturday, probably at about 11:30 p.m. Whether you're at work, throwing an earbud. Whether you're just a night owl, pour a drink. If you're going to sleep, let me talk you to sleep. I put on YouTube to go to sleep. We'll do this more often. It was a lot of fun. Please, 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 like and subscribe. Share the podcast. It really does. I'm trying to take this a lot more seriously, especially after coming. Not that I haven't been, but just more professional, more seriously, doing as much as I can to get more engagement, build a following. Because this really is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and I want to make money doing this. So, please support. I mean, if you can, if you have money to spare, Patreon would be sick. It's real cheap. I think I have it set up to $2 a month, $5 a month, and $10 a month. The $10 a month, you'll get merch drops. You'll get insight into who the next guests are. You'll get some as I build a following and get more ideas, I'm gonna figure out how I can make that tier more exclusive than the others. There's some exclusive stuff for the $5 one too. I'll look at that and make sure I post those. But subscribe to the Patreon if you can. If you can't, it's totally fine. I get it. But in the free ways you can support, like and subscribe on YouTube, comment on YouTube, follow the Instagram, Improvised Intelligence Pod, follow on Facebook, give us a rating on Spotify. That really helps a lot, apparently. Give us a 5-star rating. Any way you can help the podcast in a free way, I'd really appreciate that. Again, Saturday night, 7 p.m. are doors, 8 p.m. is the show, or Unhinged is $10 at the door. And then July 2nd, I'll be at Bourbon and Boots. And then, all of that's my Instagrams at the beginning of the episode. I'll be in Denver next month. I'm very excited for that, trying to get some more shows out there. I've got 7 episodes in the bank and 2 are scheduled. So I'm going to get those out to you as soon as I can because they're fucking awesome episodes. 3 of which are from Austin, Texas. 2 guys out of the mothership, Nick Sapeglia and Riley Gilmore. Great episodes, great guys. Glad to sit down with them. Good friends. And then Allison as well, Allison Voidovich. Great episode. Friend of the podcast. Great friend to me. Great gal. I have some great ones other than those coming up too. So I'm glad for all of the support. Genuinely, it means the fucking world to me. It really does. And thank you for all the love on the mayoral episodes. I'm trying to get Keller on. I'm really trying. I have his contact info. I'll be emailing him on Monday. I have his actual work email now. I managed to get that. So really trying to get Mayor Keller of Albuquerque. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening and watching. It's been a lot of fun. New episode drops Monday morning. And then we'll see you live next Saturday night. Peace. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you like what you've seen here, please share it with as many people as possible. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram,
Got some new stand-up dates.
Facebook, Apple Podcasts. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. It really does help out the podcast. And if you're feeling extra generous, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you like what you've seen here, please share it with as many people as possible. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. It really does help out the podcast. And if you're feeling extra generous, feel free to subscribe to our Patreon, which I have coming soon.